and then I'll share my screen. So while we're all big and we can see each other's faces, I'm SJ Menifee, Director of Communications and the chair of the SHAC Committee. I'm looking for a co-chair if any parents on the call, hi friends, want to be my co-chair for the rest of the year. As I was just reading all the legalese that has to do with SHAC, I'm supposed to have a parent who's a co-chair. We're also supposed to follow Robert's Rules of Order, but I just can't. So it's fine. We're going to be less formal than that. So just put that in the back of your brain in case you'd like to be the co-chair. It's very low key. I will still do all the work. I'll just write your name down as the co-chair. And school staff members, if you'll introduce yourselves real quick, and then we'll have parents introduce themselves. We'll start with Ms. Lopez. Amy. She looks like she's frozen. Miss you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Ugolano. I'm the counselor at the secondary campus.
And Ms. Lopez, who seems to be stuck, is the counselor at the elementary campus. Hooray. And Coach Whitty.
I'm Coach Whitty. I'm the PE teacher at the MAC campus.
Yay. All right, Miss Thompson.
Yeah, I'm Kelsey Thompson. I have a pre-K and kinder kiddo at the Llewellyn campus, and I'm also a dentist with Waco Family Medicine.
Wonderful. Miss Strickland, again, sorry. I did talk to you, but I have to introduce yourself formally.
Strickland. I have a kindergarten over at the Llewellyn campus, and then my other half that, and then half the AgriLife Extension agent for McLennan County. So focusing on nutrition, physical activity, and introductory gardening programs for youth and adults.
Yay, thank you so much, Ms. Strickland. Ms. Santiago, welcome. Would you just introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, I'm a teacher here at the secondary campus.
And a parent of a graduate and a current senior.
A couple of my kids, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you all for taking the time to be here. I am going to share my screen and we'll get started. Screen 2, share and present. And welcome to SHAC. Oop, we're going to skip that because we already did the welcome. Just a reminder real briefly that SHAC is the School Health Advisory Council. We're a district level council that assists the district in ensuring that local community values are reflected in our health education instruction. We want to be a voice for parents and the community. We want to share the importance of health within Rappaport. We review health-related curriculum and make recommendations on health-related topics, believing that healthy kids make a better world. Yay. There's a fun fact for you. I'm going to start putting fun facts in here. Kids spend more than 1,200 hours each year at school, making schools an ideal place to support healthy eating, social, emotional health, and physical activity, which is the topic of the day today. And then we're always trying to look at aligning with the whole school, whole community, whole child model, which is something I think that's going to come up as we talk about the policy and trying to make sure that our policy fits all of these categories. Right now, I would say it doesn't, but it was written in 2019 and it's time to update it. So, but that's just incorporating all of these different practices so that we are addressing holistically what we're doing for health. Today for physical education, I'm going to be Coach K and Coach Foreman. They did send me information though, so I'm not making it up, guys. I promise that we're sharing the information, and Coach Woody's going to share about our 2nd through 4th grade campus. So one thing while reading through our exciting wellness policy was I thought when we talk about things that have to do with things in our policy that I would restate just that part of the policy so that we're reviewing it each time. So our wellness policy about physical education says that we will provide students with physical education using age-appropriate sequential PE curriculum consistent with national and state standards, and that it will support essential components of PE, promote the benefits of physical physically active lifestyles and incorporate essential health education concepts, that all students will be provided equal opportunity to participate in PE, and that we will make appropriate accommodations to allow equitable participation for all students, and that we will adapt PE classes and equipment as necessary. There's also a statement that says that we will not take away PE from students as a punishment. So those are the two main things that are in our policy about PE, but just keeping that in mind as our lens. Some things that are happening right now at the pre-K through first grade campus is that they are reviewing procedures and safe practices on how to use equipment properly, learning to respond appropriately to starting and stopping signals, working on running, jogging, walking, using proper form and not stopping to play or chase butterflies or do whatever pre-K through first graders like to do. They're learning some soccer skills, and they're also practicing basketball skills, including a free throw contest between each PE class, which I have heard about from my first grader because she told me how many shots she made. She was very excited about that. So practicing bouncing and catching the basketball, shooting with proper form, and then they are announcing their progress for each class and the class with the most baskets made. So that is a fun thing. I think that's new this year. I haven't heard about them doing a contest before with basketball. So those are the updates from Coach K, and there's a cute picture of a kid from field day last year shooting a basket. So you know that our real kids are really doing this. Coach Woody, your slide is next. I know you're about to, I know you're eating your lunch too. We also really appreciate that our staff members are joining us on their lunch breaks. It's hard to take time away. So I will leave it over to you.
Okay, so for the past month, we've been doing our jump rope unit, which is one of my favorites for this school year. And it's kind of broken down into 4 weeks. Week 1, very basic, how to just jump rope by ourselves. Second grade, this is tough for them if they've never practiced before. So step 1 for them is just how to turn the jump rope. And for them, we kind of just like put a cone out in front of them and they just stand still and they turn the jump rope and catch the cone. I tell them to do that for like 20, 30 times because that teaches them to keep their body completely still and to turn the jump rope.
Let's do the arms.
And several students, once we had our second lesson on that, they were able to turn and then jump one time, which was like super exciting for several kids. So once they do the turn and catch with the cone, then they go individually one at a time and woo, maybe they get more excited. And then it does take more practice to do it consistently, but we have those jump ropes at recess and on Fun Fridays. So I really preach practice, practice, practice is the only way you're going to get better at jump roping. But I saw a lot of improvement that first week. Second grade, we'll practice just individual jumping the first 2 weeks. Third and fourth grade, week 2, it's 1 jump rope and 2 people are sharing it. So they basically like 2 people in the middle and they're turning it on the side, or they're standing front and back and they're both still jumping in the middle. So it's just an extra challenge for them, which 3rd and 4th grade really likes. Week 3, 2 people holding on the ends, 1 friend jumping in the middle. I also give them some other challenges because some friends kind of really struggle turning it. That's not a skill they all know. So sometimes they'll just hold it straight across at different level heights and they jump over it and they have a lot of fun doing that as well. And then this week we call it helicopter, and we have these jump sticks, and it's basically a stick with a string and a ball at the end, and they're swinging it on the ground and the students are trying to jump over that ball as it goes around in a circle.
Wow.
So
That's another, isn't there like a product that's like a skip it or something like that? Like
yeah, we have the one you can put around the ankle.
Yeah, the
And
ankle one is what I was thinking
yes,
of. Yeah.
we have the ankle ones. I don't give those out at PE because I don't have enough. But I do have the sticks and they seem to really like that.
That's fun.
Yeah, so this unit is really great. It really helps that we have tons of jump ropes That's like the biggest thing. Everybody can get a jump rope. We can be in groups of 3, we can be in groups of 4, groups of 2. So that makes it really easy. Students can pick their groups. They have lots of options. And today was our final day. So they got to do any one of these options and choose any one of these pieces of equipment for their final day.
Awesome. Are you doing your jump rope challenge?
I'm gonna do it next semester.
is
We were
that
a little
okay?
bit short-staffed, so
Sure.
makes it hard
Gotcha.
because I do need a helper. So gonna move it to next semester.
Okay. Would you share a little bit about that and how long you've done that too? Just since it's jump rope related, even if it's not currently.
So our jump rope competition, I think we've done it 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 times. And essentially on Fun Fridays, I'll have the kids line up that want to do it. So it's totally by choice. And we'll have like kind of 6 squares, and the students will get in their square and they will try and jump rope for 1 minute. They can get in the 1-minute club, 2-minute club, 3-minute club. And then the kangaroo club is 4 minutes or higher. And I'm literally taking down every single student that makes it 1 minute or above. And I give out chocolates to every kid that makes it above 1 minute. And then the top 5 kids, as you get better times, you get more and more chocolate. And we'll have an overall school champion that gets a little trophy and the most chocolate. So last year, our winner had 14 minutes. She literally jumped for over 14 minutes.
Wild.
The year before that was 8 minutes. The year before that was like 5 minutes. So every year, the standard to win it is getting higher and higher. So that's fun to see.
I love that. I always look forward to getting you always send me photos of everybody, and it's exciting to see them compete. And they enjoy it. They have fun with it. They have access to jump ropes and some of that equipment during recess as well, because this picture was from recess that I took here. So they're getting to continue to build those skills. What's next for you in January? Do you switch to something else?
We will switch to something else. January is one of those months.
Weird. It's a weird month. January, February. It's cold.
It's weather
unpredictable.
dependent. Yeah. If it's bad weather, we'll be starting fitness gram in the classrooms, which last year we ended up doing that almost all of January. Second grade doesn't do that, so they'll do the cardio drumming in the cafeteria with the ball and the sticks. Yeah, February, if we're lucky, it'll be floor hockey. So
okay,
we just kind of play it by ear, January, February.
I got it. Well, thank you so much, Coach Whitty. And then switching over to secondary information, we currently, or this week has been tryouts for soccer season. And so to go along with that, our secondary PE coaches have been, will be reviewing soccer rules, positions, passing and dribbling with all of our middle school and high school PE classes so that they mirror what we're doing in athletics. So they're finishing out the semester with that. And they're also going to be doing the final week, they'll be doing midterm fitness grams as well, which is pacer, push-ups and sit-ups, which is how we kind of keep track and measure how physically fit our students are as they go through all the different PE programming. So we're very excited to be in our first full year of UIL soccer as a sport. Last year was just our pilot year, but they did really well and they have a ton of games that they'll be doing. So we'll be announcing the teams and the schedule for that. We're also in basketball season and having lots of basketball games. So that's what's going on with athletics. And then I didn't ask you, Coach Whitty, but I took some liberties by looking at some of the things that you've done, but I also thought I would talk about PE needs. And I knew that you were going to be here so that I could also ask you, but I knew Coach K wasn't. So I asked her what were some of her needs, because one of the things that we want to do as a SHAC committee is to pay attention to what are the health needs at the different campuses and how can we make recommendations, talk to our board members, look for grants, find ways to meet those needs, right? So that we are meeting what we have in our policy and our plan. So Coach K said specifically that she needs assistance, ideally refurbishing the track that they have, that their kids run on to take their laps. I think at every level, kids run laps to warm up, to finish out something, just to have having that running experience. Typically, she says over the summer it gets very overgrown. It at one point had some like crushed stone and some borders to kind of like identify where the track is, but it needs some TLC. So that was one thing that she mentioned. She would love a bigger playground. I was like, let me just wave my magic wand and poof you a playground. But it's true that if you're ever out there while they're having recess, while we do have small class sizes of 16 kids, it's typically 2 classes that are using the playground at the same time. And that's harder for the playground to accommodate 2 full classes at once. They do have space. So then I started Googling some grant ideas or something. Like, so if anybody knows anyone who helps provide playground equipment, they are going to be redoing the turf there as well. It's a much smaller patch than they have at MAC, but they've had some drainage issues, so it's a little lumpy and bumpy. So bigger playground to accommodate our youngest students would be a helpful thing if you have someone who has playground money. Coach Whitty, you do a lot of Donors Choose campaigns, I noticed, and have been really successful with that. But did you have any other specific needs that you wanted to mention as we're going into 2025, even as you're looking at things like field day or things like that?
Haven't given it much thought.
Sure. I put you on a spot, so.
I mean, there's always like quirky pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
I would like to have, like bocce, like mini golf, like things like that are different and unique.
Yeah.
But that just, yeah, I would love a wand wave to get all that stuff, but that just like, that's like
I need a wand.
slowly, yeah, that's just like over time, hopefully.
Okay.
Can't think of anything right now.
Okay. And then Coach Foreman said that they recently inventoried all of their supplies and said that they had what they needed for PE for this year. So yay for not having too great a need, other than just a new playground. So does anyone have any questions about PE specifically here? And even if the people who can answer it are not here, I can find out the answers. This is your time to have, if you have any, questions. What was the other thing you said? You said mini golf and something else.
Is it
Frisbee
called
golf?
Bocce?
What?
Bocce? Or is it bocce?
Like bocce? Like the
Is
balls?
it bocce?
I always call it bocce.
B-O-C-C-E.
I don't speak Italian, so.
Something like that.
Pretty sure my dad has a set that he's not using. We bought him for Father's Day a few years ago.
Yeah, we have to get like the soft.
Oh, I see. Okay. You don't want hard croquet style balls in the courtyard where there's windows. Any questions about PE, or did we cover it all? Okie dokie. I'm gonna take that as a no and move on. I'm happy to announce we do have a new school nurse. Her name is Amber
SJ.
Hernandez. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Were you asking a question earlier? Because I couldn't hear you, but I hear you now. Hello? April?
Sorry, my internet is really bad. Can I
Okay.
still comment really quick?
Absolutely, please.
Okay, I don't have any questions. I was just gonna, I don't know if you were gonna let us do comments later, but I might have to sign off a few minutes early.
The floor is yours, Ms. Strickland.
all
Go
right,
for it.
Two things. We earlier you had we're asking about grant. I would look up OLE, OLE. It's outdoor learning environment.
Okay.
They might have some grants for to fill up some of those spaces in the playground. It may not be your typical playground gear, but it's pretty much just getting kids moving and grooving outside. So it might be a good fit for that space, that just to have an extra area for kiddos to play in. And then secondly, in the future, moving forward, if I just wanted to throw it out there, because I know Miss Caspers does the LGEG, which primarily is focused on the gardening, but there are 10 physical activity like games. They're roughly about I think 10 to 15 minutes each. And so at any point in time, the school can utilize any of those activities, and Better Living for Texans will supply everything that they need, whether it's like stopwatches, or I mean, y'all have seems like a plethora of jump ropes, but like if there was any other gear or equipment that y'all would need for those activities, that would be supplied. If the kiddos at whichever campus would participate, I could always throw in like as incentives or like prizes, water bottles or beach balls, just things that get kids kind of reminding them to stay hydrated, and then also reminding them to move. So I would love at any point in the future with any of the physical activity pieces to come alongside and partner with y'all. If y'all have like a kickoff event or any kind of thing where I can bring, like I said, if it's for the whole campus and I need to bring like 200 water or whatever, I would just love to support what y'all are, the good things that y'all are already doing, and just kind of reinforce them and just have some fun things that the kids can also take home as well.
Okay. That's wonderful. Thank you. Do you have like a flyer or something about the various physical activities that you said there were 10 of them, and how that works as far as like, and I would come to you for requesting things like that? Or
Miss Caspers has the LGEG book, and they're all in the back, but I can
they're all in there?
probably
Okay.
I can send you the digital activities, and that way you can send them to the PE
Okay.
coaches, and like and then now we officially have a youth walk across Texas that is now being implemented in schools, and that's a whole nother meeting, but that would also be a fun program to do campus wide, or to pilot it at one of the campuses. And that also comes along with like every week the kiddos are getting something, like I said, that promotes physical activity, whether
Sure.
it's a game.
Well, and I wonder if we might be able to combine them with some of the things that they're already doing. I think at middle school especially, is, I feel like from my perspective as a parent and a person who works here, is like the transitional point at which like things aren't as fun as they were in elementary, and so there's not as much like to look forward to, but they're already walking a mile every day pretty much, so if there's some way to be like, hey, you're doing this, but you're also getting to earn a thing, or they don't have a ton for their break time either, where they're just outside with nothing to do.
No, definitely. Maybe we do that. Maybe we do the physical activity piece and then loop back around to the nutrition later.
Yeah.
Again.
I was thinking about that because has it been 2 years?
Yeah.
All right. I will get with you on that, because that's something that I would love us to do more of. And it's so easy to incentivize middle schoolers. They will do whatever for a water bottle. It's great. And Coach Woody, keep that in mind if you want some other little prizes and things like that. Would that be something that you would do, Mr. Klin, for the jump rope challenge as well, maybe?
Yeah, most definitely. I was thinking for when y'all were mentioning about January, because the weather, it's rainy, it's cold. We have these they're little dice, but they have like, it's I don't know if you've seen them, SJ, but one dice is just six, the 1 to 6, and then the other die is 6 physical active, like jump rope. I mean, I'm sorry, jumping jack, or do a crunch or something like, and then so they roll the die. And so it's nice when I'm at places where the weather is inclement, we can still play these games indoors. So that'd be fun to kind of gift y'all and have y'all as backup.
That's awesome. You like that idea, Coach Woody?
Yeah, give us prizes. I'll give those to the kids. Those dice sound nice too.
All right.
And we'll document it and do whatever you need us to do on your supplying things for people. Oh, there's Miss Caspers with the LGEG book. Come on. Woo! The collaboration. But But yeah, I think our middle school would also be a great place to do that because they're just not as excited about PE. It's not very fun. I can say that because they're not here. The coaches are not here to defend themselves. Okay, new school nurse. Back to that. Thank you so much, Ms. Strickland. Amber Hernandez, she's a registered nurse with 8 years of experience. She has 3 associate degrees, a bachelor degree, and a master's of science in nursing. So she's overqualified for the job. She will be working part-time with 20 hours a week and is also working at a hospital locally. And she has a current Rappaport 9th grader. They're new to the district. So she's on board now and is doing some training with our previous nurse to make sure that she knows what all needs to be covered. So I did invite her to come to SHAC, but it was kind of like yesterday. So hopefully she can join us in January and y'all can meet her over Zoom. Update on food service director. We're in the process of interviewing for that position. But in the meantime, this wonderful lady here, Laquel Rabanales, is filling in as the kitchen manager. She's worked in our cafeterias for a long time and is really passionate about making yummy food and serving the kids. So she stepped into that role, and potentially, depending on who we hire, it may end up being more of a managing the kitchen and then managing all of the ordering and the compliance, and those 2 roles might be a little more split. So since that has to do with school health, I wanted to be sure that you knew about that, and then I updated you. Dental and flu shot clinics we hosted in November. So the flu shot clinic, we had 34 flu shots given over a 2-hour period. We were pretty busy. A lot of families with multiple kids came in, so and my family did as well. It went really well. We partnered with the community center at the back of our campus, so we didn't have to host it in one of our buildings. We just had it there in their lobby. And then Waco Family Medicine provided dental care for 16 elementary students in late November, and are hoping to maybe provide some more care in the future. We had a few more sign up that weren't present. Isn't that right, Ms. Thompson? If you want to say anything about it.
Yes. Yeah, we had, I think 5 kiddos were absent that day.
Okay.
I think there was a stomach bug going around.
Oh,
So-
it's always something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We're excited and would love to continue to partner with Waco Family Medicine on all things. So let's get into wellness policy and assessments briefly. I tried to do some of the heavy lifting so that none of us have to be bogged down. From what I can tell, the way that it works is that we have a policy, and from the policy we make a plan, and every 3 years we assess how we're doing on the plan. Would anyone like to guess how long it's been since we assessed our plan? It's been 3 years. Okay, it's time to do it again. We get to assess it. Yay! It's actually might be slightly longer than 3 years. So I mean, this policy is from 2019, but I think the assessments were done in 2021. So triennial assessment is real fancy, but it just means every 3 years. We conduct a compliance check for our wellness policy. We assess our progress towards the goals. We compare the policy and plan to state and federal model policies. And what this committee's role is to make sure that we're using evidence-based strategies for making the best goals possible for our campuses and how we evaluate it. That's a lot. So what I put down is our next steps, which is mostly I will work with campus admin. They're the ones who will do the assessments, and it's just a checklist. It's like, here's what it says in our policy. Are we doing it? Yes or no? That is all that's required, is that we assess it and see if we're meeting the goals or not. There are definitely goals that we are not meeting, but we just have to renew that assessment. But what I'd like to change is update our wellness policy, which I mentioned at our last meeting. It is on our website, but I will email it to you. I read it today. It took me 10 minutes. Maybe it's 5 pages long. And then I would just love anything that you think might need to be edited or changed. If you could email me, I will email it to you. by January 22nd, because our next meeting is January 23rd. What I'd really like to do is get it updated. This is 2019, so it's time to do some updating on it, and then email it to parents and staff for feedback. And then hopefully take an updated version of the policy to our board for them to approve. And then basically the policy feeds the plan, right? So the policy is that we will have, you know, great physical education, and we will provide clean water, and we will, you know, provide food and beverages that meet whatever guidelines. But the plan can be more like, our goal is to make sure more kids eat vegetables, right? And how we do that is we're going to provide more information about nutrition. We're going to make sure that our cafeterias are, you know, maybe marketing or promoting how to eat carrots. You know, like we have very measurable goals, like steps underneath that. It could be that under PE, we say, we want to help them. It's almost like we're doing some of the things that we're already doing, but we're writing it into the plan. Does that make sense? So that we can measure, yes, we are doing this. We are providing, you know, information about various kinds of sports, about stretching and taking care of your body, that kind of thing. But what I will say, after having just recently read this all the way through, one thing that is missing that the two ladies on this call would be very helpful to help with is there is nothing about mental health in here at all. There's nothing in the policy about supporting mental health. And I also think it's a bit wordy. I mean, I think it's meant to be kind of legally specific. But I think that there's some unnecessary verbs and things that are just like, it's overcomplicated to some extent. And I think that once we get it updated, it should also be in Spanish. So make it a little bit easier to read, and make sure that we include mental health. And this is just my opinion. So, but like looking at that whole child model and saying like, are we missing parts? We might be. And are all these things, you know, what we want to focus on? There's another part, and I'm going to ask our admin about it. It says that we will, classroom teachers will incorporate physical activity and kinesthetic learning approaches into core subjects by recommending physical activity breaks and or incorporating movement and kinesthetic learning approaches to core subject instruction when possible. And I was like, "Who are we doing that? I don't know. Are they doing jumping jacks while they're doing math? I really don't know." So that was one thing that I highlighted it, and I was like, yeah, good idea to check on that. Like that's a good idea. But if we're not really doing it, I don't know that we should make it our policy. And if we are, then we need to have a plan that fits how we make that happen. We have a lot of things that we ask teachers to do. And right now we'd like to mostly cover the core subjects. I think, and it has information about recess and outdoor time, but I think that may be something that is a little more achievable. I'm not saying that they can't stop and have a brain break, but I just don't know how often that is happening, the way that we have it aligned in the policy. So all that to say that I'd love to have a wellness plan created by the end of this year that would start in 25-26 based on an updated policy that makes it really clear, like, what is the point of this committee, right? Helping make sure that we are pushing towards these goals and we're measuring it, which is, I think, the point. And then ideally, that means that our 3 years restarts. And that means that we wouldn't have to do another assessment until 2028. So that is the goal. I'm going to email you. I'm not going to email you the plan because guess what? The plan is the policy, just in another document. It's exactly the same, which is not what we're supposed to be doing. So the plan has to be rewritten anyways, but it's also old. So, but that is actually one of the things that the SHAC committee is supposed to do. So I would just love your feedback, because I have to have your feedback because it's a requirement that I engage stakeholders. So consider yourself engaged. Y'all, I need to have lunch. All right, school health updates from anybody else on the call who wants to tell me about things that is school health related, or topic suggestions for our next meeting, or any health and wellness initiatives that we should cover in 2025? I'm not gonna talk, because I gave a lot of updates.
In January, across the district, we'll be doing our suicide or mental health wellness presentations. So information for parents will go out the beginning of next year.
Is that at all levels or at secondary specifically, since you're the one that's talking?
It's all levels, but it's
Okay.
grade appropriate. So the elementary campus and like fifth grade, it's just more of like what is mental health and how to take care of ourselves. And suicide prevention is more middle school and high school.
It's like something we should have in our wellness policy. Wonderful. Thank you for letting me know about that. Do y'all, is that something that you send out to parents that they have to opt in for or anything like that? Or you're just informing them that it's happening? Are you going to send that out on Parent Square out of curiosity?
So it'll probably go out in the newsletters. It's required by the state that just like the bullying prevention that we provide that. Eighth grade is going to be doing our YAM program again, and parents have to opt into that, but they'll get information on that sent to them as well.
Okay. When is YAM?
It's a 5-week. Did you say when or what?
When? Sorry, yes.
Sorry.
I know when it is.
So it's going to start in January.
Also in January.
And
Okay.
it's a 5-week program once a week.
Great.
I was just gonna update about so we had the dental clinic. We had several students that filled out permission slips that didn't have insurance, and right now with Waco Family, we didn't have a way of seeing them at the school, just with different things that make it complicated, being a federally qualified health center. So I'm trying to find a way to include Rappaport in our Give Kids a Smile event, which is in February. It's at our Elm Clinic location, which is really close.
That is really close.
And so I talked to Mrs. Teague about this, but I'm gonna be emailing the principals and just see if there's any interest. It would be busing students over, but they would get preventive care, regardless of insurance or not. And so I really would like to include them in that if possible. And then the other thing is that we are trying to streamline. This is kind of our pilot year for our program, and we're trying to streamline things on the Waco Family Medicine side. So we have a MOU, or like memorandum of understanding, that we're gonna bring to Rappaport, probably just to try to get the board's approval, just to have like a more formal agreement between the two. But just wanted y'all to be aware of those few things.
Thank you very much. What it is called? Give Kids a Smile? Yes. Okay, great. I'm just trying to take notes and listening at the same time. MOU coming. We will sign your MOU. Great. I would love to have some more external partners and parents on these calls. And so if you have any suggestions of people who I can annoy to join our SHAC committee, feel free to send them my way, just because I want to be sure that we're doing what the SHAC is supposed to do, which is like gathering feedback from our community. And they don't have to specifically be connected to Rappaport. We do want parents, but we also would love, groups who provide resources or who can help us connect with things in the community that our students need. I know we've had different people hop on the calls at various times. Even clergy and things like that are on the list of, like, I can actually send out a bulleted list of all of the people that you're supposed to try to invite. Lawyers, interestingly enough, are on the list. People in various health professions. And so just in case you have some suggestions of people who would love to come and talk with us, that would be great. And look at us, it's going to be less than an hour. Our next meeting is January 23rd at 11:30 a.m. Please put that on your calendar. I will share it with you again if it's not already. We are going to be hearing from our facilities director, John Garay, who is going to talk with us about facilities and safety. So that's his little presentation, because both of those are essential for health. One thing that is exciting that I noticed at the high school, they've just installed over Thanksgiving new water bottle fillers. Yeah. Replacing some of our older water fountains, which is a big complaint that a lot of people have, but they're not only are they expensive, but you also have to pay to get rid of your old water fountain, interestingly enough. Like it's $800 or $900 for the whole thing, not just the water bottle filler, but like replacing it. So while it feels like sometimes we are stuck facilities wise, Mr. Gray is really doing a lot of work and making a lot of strides towards making small changes where he can and big changes when we can. But he will be a great resource for just asking questions about like, hey, how are we making sure that our kids are safe and the facilities are providing what they need. We're also going to talk about the wellness policy. And hopefully at that point, I will have assessments done with Jennifer and Tyler so that we can say, here's what, based on our old policy, how we're doing, and then we'll update it. So that's everything. Thank you very much for your time and for hanging in there with me and my shenanigans. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Thanks,
And
SJ.